Well, hello everyone. I'm here with two wonderful ladies today, Lori Zabka and Kim Anderson. I guess collectively known as the two podcasters behind Coming Unglued.
Yes.
And individually they're doing their own thing.
Mm-hmm.
So why don't you each first, I don't care who starts. You can start because you're closer.
You start, because
Okay.
you're letter A.
I am
We were
A.
just
I'm
saying
A,
A to
she's
Z.
Z.
Oh, there you go.
I should always go first.
Yeah, you go first, Kim
So
Anderson.
tell everyone.
So
who you are,
I'm
what
Kim
you do.
Anderson. I am a licensed counselor and I am a life coach as well, certified life coach. And I work with women and families and in my private practice with men as well, helping people get from where they are to where they want to be, helping them get unstuck, identify life patterns that might be keeping them from living their best lives, really mindset issues, things like that.
How did you get into that?
Well, I used to be a teacher.
Okay.
In California, I was a teacher.
Mhm.
That's where I'm from. And I loved teaching. But what I felt was my passion was really what was going on in the home life of the families, not so much in the curriculum. So for all you teachers out there, I'm super grateful for the role that you play in people's lives, teaching them, but I really had more of a connection with the emotional and social well-being of the children and families. And so I just had the opportunity to go back and get my master's degree, and from there, just moved into coaching and then into counseling.
Cool.
And she's really good at it. She's my unofficial life coach.
Completely unofficial.
Yeah.
And so then what do you bring to the table right now?
Well, my background is nutrition and fitness. We were talking earlier, I moved to Nashville in '91 and went to Belmont as a vocal major. And so singing, it has just always been, since I was like 3, part of me, and it still is a big part of my life, and I still sing and perform. But I fell into, well, let me back up. I don't want to take too long. But I was always a very active, I was always the girl exercising, working out, on the Stairmaster back in the 80s when that was popular. But I had a passion for fitness. My passion for wellness and nutrition came about, I was in my late 20s and I was living in Nashville, and Nashville back then was not the Nashville that it is now. So there was no Whole Foods, no juice bar, no True Foods kitchen, it was Cracker Barrel and McDonald's.
I was going to say
McDonald's,
probably.
yeah, lots of those. So what started happening to me, again, like I was an avid runner, I was a very active person with a raging sugar addiction. And I didn't think anything about it because I wasn't overweight. And at the time, that's what the thought, if you're not overweight, if you don't look unfit, you're healthy.
Yeah.
Wrong. So I had this, I didn't know it, but I was developing type 2 diabetes. I didn't know that. I just knew that I felt awful. Things were happening, and I won't go into all that, but I knew that I was not well. And so I would go to doctors. They're like, I don't know, you're fine. Those symptoms don't sound good, but we tested you and you're fine. So I found a holistic doctor. And he actually wasn't in the state, but we had phone calls, and he did tests, had tests run. Those were sent to him. He comes back at me and says, "You are a very unhealthy girl."
Oh my God.
And I was offended because I thought, I do Tybo. I am very fit, and and he's like, no. Here's what the deal is. Like, you're killing yourself. Your sugars are off the charts. You're on your way to type 2 diabetes. That's why you feel this. It's going to lead to other things. So he basically, it was a fax machine back then. He starts faxing me pages and pages of how we're going to revamp my diet. And it wasn't going on a diet.
Yeah.
It was just a completely new way, taking out refined processed foods, white sugar, added sugars, white flours, kind of things that we know now that we just do. I didn't know that back then. Eating organic foods that don't have a lot of pesticide and toxicity inside of them. So I went all in. I was like, if I'm going to do this, because I feel so bad right now, I want to feel much better. I'm going to do everything he says. And I did, and I'm telling you what, within 2 weeks, there was a visible change. All my symptoms went away. I felt like $1,000,000, and I just continued to get better and stronger. But people would tell me that my skin color looked different. I think I had like an overall sugar bloat gone. Like things just started, and I became a disciple. And I was like, I wasn't professionally coaching at that time, but I was telling everybody, and I was helping people, and it became a real passion for me.
Cool.
Yeah.
So they've got you covered, body, mind, and soul.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's
Yeah.
how we came together,
Yeah,
really,
so
is
tell us.
I was experiencing people coming into my office, and they'd have these great ideas of wanting to get unstuck themselves and wanting to have better quality of life emotionally, but physically, they were self-sabotaging themselves and really rotting themselves inside out, or just, again, the sugar addiction, things like that. And then Lori experienced.
Yeah, the same thing. I mean, people would come to me as a nutrition coach or a fitness coach, and they would really think, if you just give me a meal plan, if you just give me a workout, my life's going to change, and then I can do it. And while that is a great piece, if their mind was not fully dialed in, if they hadn't maybe dealt with some stuff that was backed up in there, causing them to have false beliefs about themselves, it's all so connected. And I would always think, oh my gosh, I wish Kim was on this session. I wish she could speak some truth into this client or that client. And so we started talking about it, and for a long time, like, let's work together, So finally, we came unglued.
So how did you two meet?
Oh, that's a fun story.
You're good at that
Okay,
story.
can I tell it? Okay. So it was 1999.
Yeah.
8
or 9.
8 or 9.
Yeah.
1998 or 9. Okay. We're dating ourselves just a little bit. We were 5.
Yes, we were 5.
Wow, you know each other.
I know, right? And I won tickets to see a concert opened, and we got front row tickets. I just won them on the radio, and we were going to see Michael W. Smith, and it just randomly, like, I applied for them, got them, and my husband now, who was my fiance at the time, we were sitting front and center stage, and this band called Wilshire opened up for Chris Rice and then Michael W. Smith, and we fell in love with this band. So this is back in the day where, like, you buy the CD and then you don't follow, like, there's not a website,
No, there's no
really. There's
Instagram.
not like Instagram. So we just kind of lost touch with who they were, but we knew we loved their music and we kept listening to them. And fast forward maybe, 10 years, and we were in Texas. So my husband Dave was in the Navy for 20 years, and we were stationed in Corpus Christi, Texas. Well, he was actually stationed in Kingsville, Texas. Not that it really matters, but we lived in Corpus. And our dear, dear friends from Corpus, the Downey family, I was talking with Amy, the wife, and she said, oh my gosh, blah, 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 my best friend from high school, Lori Wilshire, has this band, Wilshire, and I was like, did you say Wilshire? I mean, this is like completely out of the blue, you know? And she said, yeah, she's one of my very best friends, I love her so much, and I was like, I know them, you know, I know them, I've seen them. And so we started talking, and it was just kind of this neat connection. Well, then we're moving to Nashville, you know, again, like 7 years after that, maybe, 5 years, I don't know. We returned 2012, and she said, okay, when you move to Nashville, you have got to meet Lori, you guys would love each other. And so I was like, okay, I mean, she's this, like, famous singer, why would she want to have, like, coffee with me, but I'll try.
Whatever.
And so I reached out to her and was like, hey, I'm Amy's friend. Would you want to have coffee? And she's like, sure. So she came, and we immediately just hit it off.
Yep.
And really just have had this vibe and energy since the first time we met.
Yeah. So thank God for high school Amy.
I know. Amy Taylor Downey.
Amy Taylor.
Yeah. Okay, so fast forwarding now to today.
Yeah.
You guys started talking about doing your podcast.
Yeah.
What is it? But, like, what, I guess, is the premise behind it? Like, what kind of subjects you delve into?
Yeah. Well, our goal, because it's both of our individual goal, is to help women get unstuck from whatever it is that's keeping them down so that they can go and live to their fullest potential, be everything they're meant to be. But that's a tall order. And so the beauty of us coming together, it really is like a holistic body, mind, spirit, everything. We look at topics, topics that plague women today, like just normal stuff. But sometimes we'll bring in a guest who has walked that road and is now on the other side of it and can speak into, here was how I struggled, here's how I overcame. Sometimes we have people who are more experts, you know, maybe they didn't have a traumatic situation, but they are experts in whatever the topic is. So we've got guests who share their stories, experts, but we really do approach every single topic the way it should be, in my opinion, body, mind, spirit, whole body.
And the name of it is?
Coming Unglued podcast.
And you have like one, I don't know what you call them, season under your belt.
Yep, we've released season
Okay.
1, yep, and so we're working on season 2.
Yeah.
And that'll be coming out as soon as we can get it going.
Yeah.
So where do people go to listen?
Coming Unglued on iTunes, they can search Coming Unglued.
Okay.
They can also go to comingunglued.org, which is our website.
And we're on Instagram,
We're on Instagram.
Coming_.
Coming_unglued.
Unglued. Instagram, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about your individual? If people want to work with you individually,
Yes.
where can they find you?
Yeah, absolutely. My website's kimanderson.life, so not .com, but .life, which is a little tricky, just for the holistic life approach.
Yep.
And so they can go there. They can follow me on Instagram, which is Kim_Anderson_life, because we really like the underscores.
We really do, and because everything else was taken.
Because Kim Anderson is a very generic name. You gotta get really creative with passwords or usernames.
Yeah, that is so true.
Kim_Anderson_life.
Okay.
And my website is lifebyloriz.com.
Lori.
Lori, Life by Lori Z. For Zabka, that's my last name. It's not Wilshire.
Yeah, no, it is not. We should clarify that.
It's Lori Zabka. And Instagram is at life_by_Lori Z. So I also love the underscores.
Yeah, when in doubt, just throw in an underscore.
Yeah.
And you'll find us.
That's right. Yeah.
All right, cool. Anything else you want people to know about you, your podcast, what you do, any general life advice or anything?
Oh my goodness. I would say if you're someone who is stuck and maybe you have you've tried a certain approach, you know, maybe you've come at it from counseling or a life coach and you still are feeling stuck. I just want to encourage people, and even if you've come from a nutrition, fitness background and you think, I've got that dialed in, why am I still stuck? Really look at your body and your life as a whole, because you can't have an unhealthy body and expect to have a healthy mind, and vice versa. So that's really our passion with this podcast, and we believe it with all our hearts that that's true, and that is the best approach when you're just trying to be your best.
Yeah. Yeah, and I would say it's okay to not be okay, right?
Yeah.
That's the thing, is so often perfectionism gets in the way, and we think, okay, that's great, but I could never do that, or, that doesn't apply to my life. Every day is a Monday. Every day is a fresh start.
Yep.
Every day is a chance to turn a new direction, even if it's just a little bit. But we don't want people to come to our world perfect. We want everybody to show up messy. Like, we're messy.
We are a mess.
Like, we're a mess. And so when we can just get rid of that shame and that perfectionistic mindset, that in order to be on the other side of the coin, you have to be perfect. We just want to dispel that.
Yeah, and I do want to say one more thing, if I can, that setbacks, when you think like, I'm doing so great, and then you have a setback, it is not a failure, and you helped me so much, and we kind of talked about that on one of the episodes. You helped me realize that is actually part of the forward-moving process, is having setbacks and feeling like, oh, now I've blown it. You haven't.
Yeah.
You start again. You just start again with the next
keep
step.
going.
I was going to ask, do you guys ever, when you're with each other, like, sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, just naturally kind of like you'll, what am I trying to say?
Is she my therapist?
Yes.
Yeah, like,
No, because I could lose my license. I am not her therapist.
No, she is not my therapist.
Do you find value in each other?
Oh,
with your
gosh,
relationship?
100%. There's immense respect and trust, and
Absolutely.
I absolutely
Well,
bring
Lori, I just on a side note, our daughter suffered from severe allergies, but not allergies like
Environmental.
but like
Food.
her body was really going through a rejection of different foods. And it was through Lori's assessment of what was going on with her that put us into the allergy clinic of Franklin, where we were starting to test and go on a diet to cleanse it. And we wouldn't have known that if she hadn't been able to spot it. So.
Yeah, that's awesome.
and I bring all kinds of stuff unofficially to my good friend who is not my therapist.
Good friend.
But yeah, there's a lot of trust and respect here. So
Good.
Yeah.
Awesome. I love this.
Yeah. We have fun. Too much fun.
Yeah.
sometimes we do.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Check them out. They're on all the underscore places.
And I was going to say, I've got a book coming out.
Yeah,
with
tell us.
courses.
Yes.
A book called Unstuck, which you can get on my website. But Lori's got an amazing program called the Anti-Diet, which really helps people identify and eat in a healthy way, but again, without that shame and pressure of a perfectionistic diet mindset.
Yeah.
And so it's anti-inflammatory. It's wonderful. So you should check that out.
And your book, everything is on the website.
Everything's on my website.
You said the book's already available?
It's almost available.
Okay.
And pre-ordering.
Pre-ordering is available, so you can pre-order it now.
Is it just basically based on like what you do and kind of all of this?
So I take 16 myths or lies that we tell ourselves as women, and I just tackle each one. So, like everybody else's life is perfect. How often does that happen, right? You know, everybody else has the perfect marriage. Everybody else, it's not okay to say no, those types of things. So we take those myths and we tackle them and debunk them, and then I provide tools to move out of that mindset.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
You too can have Kim as your life coach. Just get her book.
Yeah.
Start there.
Definitely. All right. Well, thank you again so much. Thank you for watching. I hope that you have learned some valuable stuff, and we'll seek them out to become a better you.
Woo!
Thank you.
Come unglued.
Unstuck, unglued.
I know all the uns and underscores.
Yeah, exactly.
What is our deal?
Write a book. Uns and
Uns
underscores.
and underscores. That's the next one.
Good, yeah.
All right. Well, we could probably sit here all day and chat. But
Thank you.
Thank you
All right,
again.
thanks.
It was fun.
bye, guys.
Bye.